Three things happened this week that tell you exactly what's getting ripped out of your future Tesla's cabin to hit that lower price tag. One of them is sitting in showrooms right now, and you can go touch it today. Another is a decision Tesla clearly did not want to make public, buried in an admission about a car most people already own.
Nobody leaked a Model 2 interior sketch this week. Nobody needed to.
But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know more about that 2027 cabin than the people trying to sell you one. Start by looking at the car Tesla just put on sale 3 days ago. What did Tesla just put inside? The Model YL. And why does it matter for a car that doesn't exist yet? On July 2nd, Tesla launched the Model YL in the United States. 6 seats, long wheelbase, built at Giga Texas, starting at $61,990. Tesla threw in a year of full self-driving and a year of supercharging just to soften that number. The seating is 2+2+2, captain's chairs in the middle row instead of a bench. And Tesla stretched the wheelbase by roughly 6 inches, specifically to give that third row real legroom instead of the technically has seats back there situation you get in a lot of 3-row crossovers. Vertical air vents run up the B and C pillars, so the people stuck in the back aren't just breathing whatever drifts past the front seats. There are cup holders for the third row.
Somebody at Tesla sat down and thought about the actual humans who'd be sitting back there.
And the headliner is black now, not the light gray fabric that used to show every coffee stain and every kid's shoe print. Tesla quietly moved every Model Y premium trim to a black headliner earlier this year, and the Model YL inherits it. It is the single most requested interior change from actual owners for about 2 years running, and Tesla finally did it. Here is why any of this matters to a car with no name and no price tag. The Model YL is Tesla telling you in a showroom right now what they think a customer deserves when they're willing to pay more. More space, better materials in the right spots, attention to the seats nobody photographs for Instagram.
Now flip that logic around.
Whatever the Model 2, or whatever they end up calling it, turns out to be, it is going to be built by cutting away from exactly this list. Less space, cheaper materials in the spots nobody photographs, third row afterthoughts if there's a third row at all. Keep this list in your head. We're coming back to it. Is the July 7th Giga Texas announcement about a cheaper car or something else entirely? Tesla's Vice President of Vehicle Engineering, Lars Moravi, went on record saying there's cool news coming out of Giga Texas on July 7th. He wouldn't say what it is, only that it's part of the scaling effort. Here's what we know is already happening on that campus. The pedal-free Cybercab is already testing on public roads in Austin, and Tesla filed plans back in March for a Terafab North campus, over 5 million additional square feet aimed at AI chip production. Now, if you've watched our earlier breakdown on Giga Texas and the Unboxed process, you already know the short version. Build sub-assemblies in parallel instead of one long line. Cut the factory footprint roughly in half. Cut labor and paint costs along with it. We covered that as a manufacturing story. Here's the angle we didn't connect yet. Every dollar that process saves on the factory floor is a dollar Tesla can either pocket or spend on the parts you actually sit on and touch. Unboxed process was never really about speed. It's a cost lever, and the cabin is one of the first places that lever gets pulled. Put the Cybercab testing and the Terafab expansion next to each other, and you get a pretty honest hint about where the next generation platform is really headed. And it isn't necessarily toward a $30,000 hatchback for your neighbor's kid. The Cybercab interior is about as stripped down as a production interior gets. No wheel, no pedals, minimal trim. If the Model 2 shares real bones with that platform, that's the far end of the spectrum it's being pulled toward.
I wouldn't be shocked if some of that July 7th news never mentions a consumer car at all.
Why does Tesla even need to cut costs this hard right now? Tesla delivered 480,126 vehicles in the second quarter, up almost 25% from a year ago and well past what Wall Street expected. And the stock still sold off the next day. Around the same window, investor Michael Burry, yes, the big short guy, disclosed a new short position against Tesla. And globally, BYD still delivered more pure electric vehicles than Tesla did this quarter. And pressure on margins is exactly the kind of thing that turns into a decision somewhere in a design review room to use one fewer speaker, one fewer sound-deadening layer, one cheaper piece of plastic trim.
The Model 2 cabin isn't going to be minimalist because minimalism is beautiful.
It's going to be minimalist because somebody has to hit a number. What should you actually learn from the FSD situation before you trust any promise about this car's tech? Tesla just started rolling out FSD version 14 light to hardware 3 cars. The first real update those vehicles had gotten in 14 months. Sounds nice, right? Except buried in that story is Elon Musk admitting on the record that hardware 3 cars simply cannot do unsupervised self-driving.
Owners paid up to $15,000 for a promise that the hardware in their car physically cannot keep.
I'm not telling you this to scare you off, Tesla. I'm telling you this because when the Model 2 shows up with some sleek single screen and somebody tells you it'll get smarter over time, remember this paragraph. Evaluate the cabin tech on what it does the day you drive it off the lot. What other cracks should make you look a little closer at the fit and finish? Quickly, because this deserves its own conversation another day. The Tesla Semi was just involved in its first known fatal crash in Nevada. Cybertruck owners are dealing with a charging component failure that Tesla is quietly replacing case by case instead of issuing a formal recall. And the old Model S and X assembly line at Fremont has been converted to build Optimus robots. Put plainly, attention and resources right now are not sitting on consumer car quality control. Keep that in mind when you're inspecting panel gaps on whatever shows up in a showroom claiming to be affordable. So what will the Model 2 interior actually look like? Let's put actual numbers on this first. So you're not just picturing a vague, smaller, cheaper Tesla. Reuters' April sourcing puts the vehicle at roughly 168.5 inches long, noticeably shorter than the Model Y's 188.7 inches, and around 3,300 pounds, close to 1,000 pounds lighter than a loaded Model Y. Tesla's own master plan. 3 document points to a 53 kilowatt-hour LFP battery, which lines up with analyst range estimates around 250 miles. Well short of the Model Y standards rating, but roughly in line with what buyers already accept from the Nissan Leaf S Plus at $29,990 for up to 303 miles, or the Chevy Equinox EV in the mid-$30,000 for over 300 miles. If Tesla lands anywhere in that $25,000 to $30,000 window Musk originally promised, it isn't beating those competitors on range or size. It's competing on the badge and the supercharger network. That's the box this interior has to fit inside. Smaller footprint, lighter car, tighter budget than anything currently wearing a T. The dashboard is almost certainly going a simplified Cybercab-adjacent direction. Minimal physical buttons, one central screen doing most of the work, no separate driver display. Given the smaller cabin and the cost target, don't expect the Model 3's 15.4-inch panel here. Something closer to 10 or 12 inches would actually track with a car this size and this price. That's the direction the whole lineup has been pulled for years, and the platform sharing with Cybercab makes it even more likely here. The seats will probably use basic textile instead of the vegan leather Tesla puts on its pricier trims, following the exact playbook from the Model 3 Standard and Model Y Standard, both of which quietly swapped materials to hit their price points. Color choices will likely shrink down to 1 or 2, not the wider palette you get on the Model YL.
The roof is the one I'd bet on most confidently.
No panoramic glass. That single piece of glass is expensive to manufacture and expensive to insure against damage, and every affordable Tesla trim so far has cut it first. Ambient lighting, if it exists at all, will be basic, maybe even locked behind a paid unlock, the way some features already are. The center console is where I expect real sacrifice. Remember those dual wireless charging pads in the Model YL? Don't be surprised if the cheaper platform ships with just one or none. Rear passengers likely lose any screen entirely, same as what happened on the stripped-down Model Y variants that started showing up in spy shots over the past year.
And features like heated seats, ambient lighting, maybe even some drive modes. Wouldn't be surprised if they show up as monthly subscriptions instead of things you simply own.
That's the direction the whole company has been leaning, cabin comfort turning into recurring revenue instead of a one-time purchase. To be completely straight with you, if you need a car this year, don't wait on a name that isn't even confirmed, a price nobody has announced, or a production timeline that's already slipped past 2027 once. The Model 3 Standard and Model Y Standard are real, sitting on lots right now. All right, quick one for the comments. If the Model 2 shows up in 2027 exactly the way I just laid out, stripped seats, no glass roof, subscription heated seats, are you waiting for it or are you out? Comment below waiting or out. And hey, don't forget, we're closing in on 33,333 subscribers on this channel. If this kind of breakdown is useful to you, you know what to do.